What's up, Instagram? Well, happy Friday. Welcome to this episode of The Weekly Rock, where we are continuing our four-part series on New Year. We talked about, given about 3 weeks ago, we talked about how we said that July 1st is the new January 1st. And so today we are in our third part of a four-part series that we put together talking about how do we begin to look at the new year. We said week 1 we're going to be our rhythms and routines. Week 2 we were going to look at, and those were going to be our intention, our direction. And then this week we are talking about habits and action. So we're going to give it just a couple more minutes, have a few folks that are going to join with us. As they do that, for those of you that are here, thank you so much for joining us. Will, what's up? Ruben, how are you? So glad that you guys are here with us. Derek, what's going on, my man? Glad that you guys are here. Peter, how are you? Hadn't seen you in a while. So as we go through today, we're talking about habits and actions. We'll do just like a small, quick recap here in just a minute or so, just about rhythms and routines and what that means. Tammy, nice to see you. Rhythms and routines, what that was like, intention and direction, and how we kind of build on those 4 things to get to a place today as we talk about habit and action. What's up, Coco? And that way we can put those things together to see how those things can begin to fit and create a sequence as we look at what we're going to refer to as our new year and put all those things in that way. So for those of you that are joining us, maybe you've missed the last few, you are more than welcome when this is over. We keep all these in our IGTV down there listed under the series called The Weekly Rock. And so these, again, are called our New Year series. We're doing a 4-part. We've done 2 so far. This is part 3. Part 1 being rhythms and routines. Quick overview is we said rhythms are the cadence at which we move. Just like a good song comes on, you hear it and you catch the right rhythm. That means you are in cadence, you are in pace. Rhythms are the way in which we look at our day. We kind of block those off into big chunks. We said that we're going to kind of break it into a 2-3-1, 3-2 chunk. We're talking about hours there. So the first 2 hours of the day, the next 3 hours, 1 hour for lunch, 3 hours, then 2 hours. Kind of looking at that to go, okay, in those spaces, what are my rhythms in that? How does that operate? The second part of that being the routines. Then what are the kind of larger structures that I want to use in those times to make myself most effective, given what we can do, where we are, life experience, life stage, time, friends, what's up, Molly, and all those different pieces. How can we put those together in a way that allows us to look at the rhythm in which we operate best, and then look at the routines that we're going to put inside of those rhythms? We're not even at scheduling yet. We're talking just big chunks of time. What do we do with those big chunks of time? That was week 1. Last week we talked about intention and direction. Once we have our rhythms and routine, how do we make sure we're using that in an effective way that allows us to, 1, set an intention for where we want to go and what we value, and then 2, how do we use that intention to put us in a specific direction? We use the word direction as opposed to goal because I think for me, I am less interested in the singular point in which you want to get to, and I am much more interested in thinking about what is the direction you know you need to head in order for us to be able to accomplish what we set out to accomplish as we set what our intention was, right? So we said intention was made up of 2 parts, hope and desire, hope being the external, desire being the internal. You put your hope and desire together, that should set for you an intention and what is meaningful and valuable to you as you move forward. Then we said, okay, direction, how do we identify a direction? We said if you put those together, that should lead itself to going, what direction do I need ahead? Even though it's not a very good or a very... the only word I can think of, it's not a very sexy analogy to think about when you go bowling in bumpers, because bumpers like what kids use, right? But I think for me, thinking about a direction and when we have our intention, that allows us to kind of set those bumpers, right? Like I would rather know I wasn't going to take my ball down the lane. And even with bumpers, guess what? You hit a pin almost every single time. Why? Because you have something that is keeping you moving in the direction you want to go, right? If the singular focus is throw it exactly right down the middle to hit one singular pin every time, that's much more difficult. Why? Well, because we are so hyper-focused on this one thing that in the end, the direction was the lane we want to be in, as opposed to trying to think about that one singular point. So those are kind of the last 2 weeks, thinking about rhythms and routines. That's talking about intentions and direction. So where we're going this week is I want to talk about habits in action. Okay? How do we take habits in action? So I'm going to define a habit as doing something consistently in the same direction for an extended period of time. Okay? To me, a habit is doing something consistently in the same direction for an extended period of time. And when we do that, I believe that's how habits are born. That's how habits are formed in us. It gives us the ability to say, I want to do this. and I want to do this consistently, and I want to do it consistently in the same direction. Now, the beautiful part about that, saying we're going to go in the same direction as opposed to saying we're going to go doing something consistently for the same singular purpose, is that it doesn't actually give us any fluidity, right? It doesn't give us any chance in there to go, is it going to change? Our environment's going to change. Am I going to change? Am I going to grow, right? When we give ourselves enough space, we come back full circle, space and grace. When we give ourselves space in that, I really believe it allows us to go, okay, what kind of habit do we want to have? And what does that look like? And then what are the things that we're going to allow to bend and switch or change so we can continue in that direction? But I think if we're going to look at our intention and direction, the only way we're going to move is by building a singular habit or habits that allow us to consistently go in the direction, or a better way to say it is to go in the direction of choice, the direction that's going to lead us towards the thing we want to create. So that's why we've kind of stayed away from the idea of what are our goals, or we stayed away from, what's that one thing you have to do, or because I think life is a lot more fluid than that. And two is I think we kind of limit ourselves when we only look at it in a way that says, here's one thing in my life I want to go accomplish and that's it. And so as we've talked about the other areas this week, I want you to begin to think about your habits. Good, bad, or indifferent, okay? What's up, Warren? I want you to think about your habits. I want you to think about your habits in the sense of right now. Don't think about the habits you think you need to change or you need to do better. Just think about what you're already doing. What are you already doing consistently in the same direction? What are the kind of habits you have right now? Good, bad, or indifferent? I'm not interested in whether you hate them or you love them. I'm just saying, what are the habits you have right now? What are the things you're doing consistently in the same direction? And once we give ourselves a moment to go, okay, what are my habits? If I had to list off 3 things. When I say, what are your habits? What are the first 3 things that come to mind? And if you want to throw them down there in the comment, you want to throw those in there, you're more than welcome to. If you want to kind of chat about this face to face, I'm always down. If you're feeling frisky and you're on the other end and you want to hit that little smiley button with the 2 faces and you and me want to chat directly back and forth, we can absolutely do that as well. But I want you to think about, what are the 3 things? If I say, what are your habits? What are the 3 first things that come to mind? Now, once you do that, the next part of that would be, once you've established what those habits are that you currently have, the next question is, are those habits allowing me to move in the direction that I really want to go? Right? Like, we all have habits, good, bad, or indifferent. We all have them. We all do very similar things consistently on most days, day to day. So when you're doing that, I want you to think about, are the habits I currently have, do those align with, we're kind of cheating for next week, but those align with my intention and the direction I want to head, right? And if so, are those habits we want to keep? If we identify 1 or 2 or 3 habits that we currently have, and then we say, do those align with my intention? And we say no. And we say, do they align with the direction I want to go? And we say no. Then I think, then and only then, do we have the ability to say, do I want to change potentially the action I am taking that would allow me the opportunity to change my habit because I want to move in a different direction? You with me? You can hit that little like button or heart button or something, whatever makes it go something pop up on the side. That lets me know, that way you don't have to type if you don't want to. That lets me know that you're with me, you can hear me, and we're on the same page here. But we all have habits no matter what. We're all doing things consistently no matter what. So I think our ability to identify those things and ask what they are allows us to then go, is that in alignment with my intention? Is that in alignment with the direction I want to head? And if so, how do I continue? And if not, what do I want to begin to change to make sure that I'm aligned in that direction? Because I think that's really important for us. I think it's really important, even before we even think about actions, I think it's really important for us that we have the ability to go, is what I am currently doing even in alignment? Does it even relate? Because I think if we don't think, and yes, Tammy, I'm with you. I think if we don't start with our current habits, we pretend like we don't have any, and then we have the opportunity to start fresh, and that whatever we're going to start doing tomorrow will just be the new thing. When really, that's not the case. That's crazy. We're already doing stuff right now. And so if we want to change what we're doing now, we have to evaluate what it is now so we know what we want to be different. Otherwise, hey Rainey, hey Maggie. Otherwise, how's it ever going to change? Right? Like we have to be willing to go, what am I currently doing? Right? And you can see, ideally, like we're trying to build stair step or stepping stone, I don't know, whatever direction makes the best sense for you. But we're trying to build that by going, let's pause, start, rhythms. Just what are the rhythms in your life that feel right? Then what is a routine, big block of time we can create that follows suit on that rhythm? Inside that routine, what is the intention we want to have and what's the direction we want to go? Once we identify the direction we want to go, we have to pause and assess to say, is the habits that I have now in alignment with my intention and my direction? And if the answer is yes, then we go, how do I continue to build the opportunity to do these things consistently? And if the answer is no, then I think we have to give ourselves enough grace to take a step back and go, it doesn't make you a terrible person. It just means that right now we got to take some time to go, what do we want to change? Hey, Tristan, we got to take the time to go, okay, this is not the habit that I want. How do I build and change a different habit that will lead to a different action that is in alignment with my intention and my direction? I don't know if I could say those 6 words any more than I've said them in the last 14 minutes so far, so I'm going to try to say them less. But I think it's a good exercise for us to pause and go, okay, let's look at the habits we currently have. Right, like one thing that before we give an analogy. Any thoughts about that? Throw them in the comment box. If you want to go live together and you want to chat, we can do that as well. Any thoughts about any of those things? And it definitely is going to take, it definitely takes some effort. It definitely takes some energy for us to do that, right? Like it definitely takes a little bit of work for us, and we're going to have to spend some time outside of this IG live, and we're going to take time and kind of write some of those things down. Like we're going to have to take some time to be able to take a step back and go, okay, what are my habits? Maybe go backward. What is my direction? But maybe go backward. What is my intention? Maybe go backward. What is my routine, right? Like there's a reason we built them in that way. But whatever that is I want us to be able to do that. Otherwise, we're going to wake up in another 1 month, 3 months, 6 months and go, man, what did I do? Time went by. We're in a pandemic. We're in a, right? Like where there's always some reason we're going to be able to come up with of why it wasn't effective. Let's see, Tammy says, and my issue in the past has been not evaluating what I'm currently doing. Oh, and starting there. Great. I love that. Yeah, sorry, I was reading that in a different tense. Your issue in the past has been not evaluating what I'm currently doing and starting there, which is what we're doing here. So great. I love that. I'm with you. So to keep it short and sweet today, that's my challenge or my encouragement for you is I want you to be able to go, okay, if I have, let's go the other direction. I believe if we want to build something different in our life, if we want to build habits in action that are going to create a different change than what we have to make sure that it's aligned with our intention and the direction we want to head. And we have to make sure that that intention and that direction fits inside the rhythm and routine we've created for our life. If that is not the case, we are going to inevitably work against ourselves over and over and over again and be frustrated that we're not getting a different result. And so today, I just want to challenge you. What are the habits you currently have? And do they allow you to move in the direction you want to go based on the intention you have for your life? If the answer is yes, keep doing them. If the answer is no, pause, assess, and ask yourself, what can I do different? Are you with me? Does that make sense? And I'm in the same boat. Like literally I had this conversation 2 days ago, right? Me and our team, we sat down and we're like, hey, does our schedule make sense? What we're doing? Sarah, my wife, was here and we're like, does it make sense for what we're doing and what we want and where we're at? The kids aren't going back to school anytime soon. There's things that we still have to work. Like there's a million questions we could answer. And so we had to take a step back and go, what are the things we are doing? And does that work? Does that fit? And the answer for us was no, something's got to give. And so we had to find a way to make those changes because the habits we had put in place were not in alignment with what we were trying to do and the direction we were heading and the intention we have and what we were trying to create with the rhythm and routine with our family. So we had to change it. So I say that because I want you to know I don't do these because I'm like, hey, let me tell you what I figured out and accomplished I'm perfect at and you should do this too. That's crazy. I am processing and thinking right alongside you because I know the only way we're going to survive is if we do this thing together. Let's see, Tristan says, I find it hard to keep momentum when I'm looking for what does the next yet to be attained level look. Oh, got it. Looking for the next to keep up habits. Got it. So I think that's a really good point. Tristan, I think there's probably a lot of us out there who think that way, or at least at times that's something that crosses our mind to go, okay, how do I keep the momentum to go next thing, like level up, which again, I'm with you. And I would say maybe, I'm talking out loud here, okay? This is not like a pre-done thought. Maybe there is better sustainability for you if you think less about leveling up and more about sustainable growth over an extended period of time. One, because you're the only one who's determined the levels. You're the only one who has said, I'm here, but I need to be here, and to be better means I have to level up. Maybe where you are is a wonderful place, and maybe longevity, sustainability, and incremental consistency in a trajectory that allows you to fully become more and more of who you are is actually a better representation than saying, how do I level up and go to the next step? I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. I know for me, I can run myself into the ground, though, when I go to level up land. When I go to what's the next thing, next tier, next... That keeps me from being able to say, have I enjoyed where I'm at now? And can I create a level of sustainability that allows me to maintain this and maybe incrementally increase if that's what's necessary? Maybe increase is not always necessary. Maybe increase is not actually sustainable. Maybe leveling up for the rest of our life is crazy. Maybe there's some room there for us to give ourselves a little bit of a break. Not stop, not work hard, not take action, but maybe just change a little bit of our perspective. See, Casey says, my habits used to be more dictated by my work schedule. But now I feel like I have the freedom to be more aware of myself and create healthy habits of my own. Yep, I love that. Love that. Okay, love that. Tristan said, yes, only look every 2 to 3 years. Love that. And then it says, mainly I'm working on habits and consistency. Love that. And then honestly, dude, I think you're in the right place. Like I think you're doing well. And if you're going, okay, I'm looking at 2 to 3 year chunks. How do I maintain this and maintain this? I think the more we create the habit, the less momentum is required to maintain that, which like sets a. Let's think of a good analogy here, how we can do this, right? Like we need momentum to we have momentum to push the rocks up, new habit. We build a foundation. We stand on that foundation. And because we've done the work to get to the habits to where this is something that's consistent, we don't have to do all this, keep the same momentum to keep pushing rocks here, right? We don't have to keep doing that. Ideally, what it allows us to do is to maintain that level, and then we can expend energy into whatever it is we're going next, or whatever it is we're going to next time, or whatever it is we're going, I don't know, whatever those things are. Ideally, that gives us the opportunity to do that. So that way, as we step sustainably, we're on a foundation of habits we've already created. It doesn't require as much momentum to continue that thing, because it's just a part of who we are. It's just what we do. But I think the only way we allow our habits to create a sustainable foundation to stand on that we can move with is that we got to go back to rhythms and routines, and we have to say, do these match my intention, which match my direction, which matches where I'm going. I appreciate the feedback too, Tristan. What's up, Taylor? So anybody else have any thoughts or questions specifically about this? We'll give it a couple seconds for our delay there. Okay, so here's what I want us to do. This weekend, here's how I want to encourage you. If you haven't gone back and watched part 1 and part 2, go back and do that. Once you watch part 1, 2, and 3, here's the way you're spending some time. You know what? I want to do a little work, do a little work inside on myself. Got some free time, right? Want to crack open a quick ranch water. You know what I'm saying? I'm into those right now. Crack one of those open. Spend some time this weekend. Here's how I want to encourage you to do that. Sorry, real quick. Anastasia says, leveling up too fast creates anxiety, but building strong, consistent habits help. Yep, love that. Love that. So here's how I want to encourage you. I want to challenge you. Can you take some time? Right? So here's my question or ask of you. I want you to do yourself a favor and give yourself some time to say, can I look at the rhythm and routine in my life and make sure that it's aligned with how I operate best and who I really am? When you do that, can you set an intention for how you're going to spend that time that's going to allow you to create a direction you want to head, open-handed but very clear about where you want to go? And as you look and see that direction that you want to move in, ask yourself, are the things I am doing consistently now, we call those habits, going to allow me to move in that direction? Or are there things that I need to change in action to change my habits so I can make sure where I'm moving consistently is in alignment with who I am, what I am doing, and why that matters? Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for tuning in again to the Weekly Rock. We will do this every week. Next week, we will continue in our part 4 of our series. And so I believe that is alignment and accountability. And so as we do that, we'll kind of wrap all these things up, put them all together, and then make sure that we have an actionable plan for us to move forward. Thank you guys so much for joining us. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. If you're not already and you have not signed up yet for the Daily Rock, that's a text message we send out every every day, Monday through Friday, as a way to challenge, motivate, and encourage you. Please feel free and do that. You can get that in the link in the bio. You can click there and fill out the form to get those text messages, or you can just text and say IGTV and text this phone number. Ready? 469-649-8441. I'll tell you that again. That's 469-649-8441. Or, thanks, Chelsea. Or you can just end this, go to the link in bio, click the button that says The Daily Rock. It'll take you right to it, and you can fill it out. All right. Last thing is this. If you are a gentleman and you are interested, we are launching our next men's coaching group. It starts in August. We would love to have you. We have like 2 or 3 or 4 more spots left. If you're interested, shoot me a DM. I'd love to tell you about it. If there's a man in your life that you think would be interested, we meet twice a month as a group. That'll be every other Monday at 7:30 a.m. This group will meet, and then we have one-on-one a month, and you can schedule that whenever you want. It's totally up to you. We'll send you a link, and you can just look at our calendar and fill your spot. We would love to have you. If you or somebody you know is interested, would love for you to connect them with us, or shoot us a DM if it's you, and we'll get you all the information and get you taken care of today. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.